Welcome, Adrian. How are you tonight?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I have no idea what you just said because I had no audio, but I appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, I said the book was good. I said who we are.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you go to school for art at all? Yeah?
No. I went to Berkeley. I went to Berkeley as an undergrad, and I started out ostensibly as an art major. And I don't know what it's like now, but it really feels like when I was in college, it was a totally different world than what we're in now. And it's possible that I might have been more encouraged and more accepted in terms of what my interests were. But at the time, it was very, very fine art, very conceptual, and it didn't feel like a place that was going to foster my interests. So I switched over to becoming an English major very, very soon after arriving at Berkeley. And so I graduated with a degree in English, and all the comic stuff was happening simultaneously. I started working for Drone Quarterly while I was in college, but it was all just done in the evening. Like I'd go to class and then I'd come home and work on my comics.
Yeah. Did you ever at any point consider, I don't know, the Kubert School or something like that?
Oh, I had such fantasies of that because remember in the comics you'd see those ads for it, and exactly. I couldn't believe that it was a real thing. But you know, my parents they're both Berkeley grads themselves, and I sort of applied to Berkeley on a lark, mainly just because I wanted to live in the Bay Area. Yeah. And so for whatever reason, when I got accepted, it was just sort of a foregone conclusion. Like, you got in, you better go, you know? Although probably in my heart, I would have been happy to go to, you know, any art school in New York City or something like that. But,
so you started doing the mini comics, and you're a kid. I mean, I wonder what that was like for you. Both from the, you know, I don't know, the sort of the hubris of publishing your own thing, right? And,
totally.
And, you know, and then taking it around to stores and that part of it, like having to sell yourself at such a young age.
Yeah, no, it's very arrogant. It's very contrary to what my outward personality was. I was very ambitious and very driven, and obviously, I mean, it didn't feel like it at the time, but in hindsight, I must have had some belief in myself and my work to put it out there in the way that I did. Because as a person, I was very, very shy and very self-doubting, and so it's definitely some sort of two parts of my brain, two parts of my personality that were at war with each other then. I really think maybe I just funneled all my self-confidence and ambition into the comic stuff, and there was none left in terms of socializing in high school or anything like that. It was all spent on the comic stuff.
Interesting. Jordan tells me we've got our first question, so we're going to put it up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
In terms of craft, what helped you define your style in the early days?
Good question. Thanks for sending that in. What defined my style? Like I said, my whole career, I feel like, has been kind of a quest to discover what really is my own style, because the only kind of training I had, the only instruction I had, was looking at other comics that I liked and trying to copy them. And even in my published work, you can see phases of huge influences by other artists. And so, you know, my style was completely defined by the influence of other cartoonists. And I guess in the last 10, 15 years, I feel like my challenge has been to try and somehow figure out what actually is my own, and what was taken from someone else, and how to incorporate that more. So yeah, it was completely formed by the work of other artists. And if anyone wants specifics, I mean, like I said, in the early days, it was John Romita, Charles Schultz, Steve Ditko, and then the kind of like nuclear bombs that went off for me and really, really turned my head around. It was Jaime and Gilbert Hernandez, Daniel Klaus, everything in Weirdo and Raw. I think American Splendor probably had a big impact on me when I first saw it. Maybe not in terms of my art style, but in terms of content. And so that's really what it was. It was the comics of the time that completely shaped me.
How was the decision made to stop Optic Nerve as a serialized book to then go on to doing graphic novels? I mean, obviously, you would get 3 or 4 issues and you'd put out shortcomings or whatever. But was that a decision that Dean Q helped you make? Was that a decision you came to on your own, that, let's just skip that other step and just go straight for the book?
I don't know if it's a decision that's even been made. I mean, this new book is the first book that I've done that wasn't serialized. Killing and Dying actually did come out as 3 issues of Optic Nerve, the last ones to date, at least. So it's not like a firm decision was ever made. So who knows? I think for this particular book, I envisioned it from the onset as the object that it is. And if you read the book, you'll sort of see how the form of the book is intrinsically tied into the content, and it sort of, kind of folds back in on itself. And so I really wanted, for a number of reasons, for it to come out the way it did, rather than being serialized first. But that might not always be the case. I don't know.
I want to thank you, Adrian, for taking the time to talk to us. You are an excellent cartoonist, and we always enjoy your work here. And as I said, this was a strong book. If you're sitting watching at home and you have not yet got a copy of The Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist, I absolutely recommend it. And again, I want to thank you for your time, for being here.
My pleasure, Brian, and thanks for continuing to be a comics retailer. I mean, I know it can be a daunting endeavor, but it means the world to me that people like you are still at it and have supported my work from the beginning. So thank you.
It's really not any different from the things you were describing about how you are a cartoonist, and it's the same thing. I like seeing the work that people like you do, and then getting it out to people. That is what thrills me. And as I said, I just had a heart attack, but I'm still here doing this because it fills my soul with so much joy to talk to people about craft and art and making art and how they do it and why they do it. It just makes me feel healthier and better. So you're making me ultimately healthier and more well.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. And especially now, I really feel like it really is such a small world, and there's such a very particular handful of people who ran or run important comic shops throughout my life, and have had an impact both on me as a reader, as a consumer, and now as an artist. And of course, you're one of those. So I thank you for having done that.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So thank you. We got to thank Jordan for doing our tech work. Yay, Jordan. We want to thank The Beat for being our sponsor and helping us get this out and keeping it live. I want to thank all of the viewers at home and all the members of the club. If you like this interview, if you like this book, if you like what we're doing, please join the club, because it is literally the thing that's keeping the store alive these days. That's how it works today. Next month, we're back with, I didn't bring a copy with me, but with Unrig, How to Fix a Broken Democracy. I think this is going to be a fascinating conversation and probably the most political conversation we've ever had. So look for that next month. And once again, thank you very much for being here. Have a great night.
Thank you.